Hey guys, Helen Hartsmith here again from the Heart of the Witch's Path YouTube channel. Hope you're having a good day. I totally am. I wanted to film a book review today. One of my goals for this year was to read a book a month. And so I was a little slow, like I didn't technically finish a book in January or February, but I have seen the error of not meeting my goals, and so I've really been applying myself and really been doing a lot of reading, which is awesome because I have a ton of books that I've either skimmed through or haven't read, haven't touched, and I've actually bought and been gifted with lots of books recently. So I want to make sure that I'm reading them and actually getting the knowledge out of them that I'm intended to. So the book that I want to review for you today is another of the Pagan Portals books. These books are put out by Moon Books, and I discovered these late last year, I think it was. I actually did a review for another Pagan Portal book here, Breed. And these are actually Breed and Odin. That's what we're looking at here. Okay, there we go. They're actually written by the same person. I'll put a link in the description box to my review for this book if you didn't see it or and are interested in a review. So Morgan Daimler, I think I'm pronouncing that correctly, is the author of Odin, Meeting the Norse Allfather. And so, as I said in the Breed review, Pagan Portals is a series that Moon Books has done, and it covers lots of it's mostly like individual deities, so like Odin, Breed, Kaliak, I believe is how it's pronounced. I also have one on Hecate here from that series. Plus there's some other things like there's a rune book, I believe there's candle magic and things like that. I'm finding it hard to locate them in stores. I try to do as much buying as I can locally, and so it's been a little difficult to find them, which that's okay because it kind of makes it like a little game and I can look for them. And because, as I said, I have a lot of books in my library, so it's not like I'm desperate for something to read or anything like that. But so let's cover some basics with this. This is a 2018 copyright, and the text portion of this book ends up being right about 85 pages. I like these books because they're thin. As you can see, it's a pretty thin book. The ones that I've seen, they're right around that 100 pages or less area, and this one is marked $10.95 in American funds. And I spoke about this in the Breed book as well. I think that might be a little steep, but I mean, if I want it bad enough, I guess I'll buy it. But so as far as what did I think of the book? Okay, you guys, hold on. I need a drink. I've been fighting a sore throat. Oh, goodness. So I've got a cup of tea here. Oh, and I actually brought this in too because I wanted to tell you, I don't know if y'all have seen this, if you're tea drinkers or whatever, but I brought the little envelope in with me. So this is, I think it's a relatively new product by Lipton Teas. This is a daily support. So it is a green tea with turmeric, echinacea, ginger, and vitamin C. It says, "Feel fighting fit." Well-being never tasted so good. And so, like I said, it's a relatively new, it has with natural essential oils even. Ooh. This is not the first kind that I tried. There is another, it's a daily something. I don't know if it's support as well, but it's turmeric and ginger and orange. So I've tried both of these and I really enjoy them. They're really, here, I'll kind of bring that up there. The taste is really good. The price point is pretty decent. I want to say that there's, I think 15 tea bags in the box, and they're probably right around the $4 or $5 range. So that's a pretty good thing. And, you know, it's got some immune helpful stuff in there. So you gotta love that, right? Good. My throat's a little scratchy. So sorry about that. A little break in the book review. So anyhow, I was a little nervous when first of all, I was excited to read this book because I do have another book on Odin by Diana Paxson, but of course that one's a little meatier, and so I wanted to kind of see, you know, dip in the waters a little bit and see what Morgan had to say about Odin. Odin is actually a deity that she works with herself, and so that's nice to have that kind of a perspective because she actually includes in the book how she works with Odin and talks about some things like that. So that was kind of cool. I was a little nervous though when I first started this because within like the first 20-30 pages, there wasn't anything that was really new. I thought the coolest thing about it was that there were a number of pages. If you work with Odin or know anything about him, Odin is talked about throughout much of like the prose and poetic Eddas, and he's a wanderer by trade. That's the only thing I can think of. He's known to be a wanderer. And so he pops up in these different stories, but he uses other names. And so there was a list of pages of names and what they meant and where you could find the reference and things like that. So I thought that was kind of interesting, but not necessarily necessary. And then she goes in and starts talking about other deities from the Norse pantheon. And so I was like, okay, if this is all kind of stuff I know. I might not have known the names. That was cool, but I didn't need to know it. So I was like, man, this book better be good. And so I stuck with it and I read it. And honestly, I really ended up enjoying it. And so that was good. She talks about, she goes back and talks a little bit about some of the major names that he's known for, which is Wodan or Woden. That is the name that he was known as to the Teutonic people, which is the Teutonic people were a precursor to the Viking Age that, you know, we associate with the Norse pantheon. She talks about the Anglo-Saxon Woden and things like that. So that was some good historical context for Odin Father. I really dug that. Then she talked about some symbols that are associated with him and animals and items. So she talks about Sleipnir, his horse. She talks about Hugin and Munin. She talks about the wolves, Jerry and Freki, and his spear and things like that. And so that was kind of cool because there were some bits in there that I didn't know. There was actually quite a bit in there that I didn't know. So that was nice. Then she talks about Odin in the modern world and how modern day Asatrues may choose to work with Odin. And so that was really interesting. She talked about full Trui. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly or not, but it's about that's a kind of dedication to a deity within the Norse pantheon. So I thought that was really interesting. Offerings to Odin. She talked about magic with Odin. So all in all, I'm not going to get into this whole book or anything like that. There's also a really cool section on poetry and prayers that she actually wrote herself. So I thought that was really interesting too. All in all, I found this book very helpful and a really great introduction to Odin. And so if Odin is somebody that you're interested in, then I would highly suggest checking this out. For the price point, 11 bucks, it's a fairly minimal investment into a book. It's not one that's going to take up a lot of room on a bookshelf. And honestly, it's quite portable. I could throw this in my purse very easily and travel with it and things like that. So if you're looking for something along those lines, I'd give that 4 brooms easily. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. If you haven't done so already, hit that subscribe button. I mean, come on. There's all kinds of information in the description box as far as social media links and different things like that. If you've read this book or have an interest in Odin, then let me know about it in the comments below. All right, that's going to be it for this video. Thanks for watching. Thanks for taking the time to walk the path for a little while with me. Until next time, blessed be.